I'm not the richest person in the world, but I've bought over $10,000 worth of Bitcoin at 22. All credit to God. And here's a couple reasons why. One, Bitcoins come clutch for me. Many times at night, my bank might be going through certain maintenance, and I'm able to go ahead and send over some Bitcoin to my Coinbase card and spend it and make the purchase that I need to. Or say I want to send some money to somebody in another country easily and without worrying about any holds, stoppages, or anything like that. Or if I want to just turn my money into more money by investing into the future, Bitcoin was one of the many options that I chose in order to stack my money. We're going to go ahead and jump into some great reasons and why I personally invested in Bitcoin, and you guys can see if you want to jump into it as well too.
All right, let's jump into it. Let's go and let's talk about Bitcoin, why we're purchasing, and let's take a look at this chart. So I want you guys to start focusing on your higher time frames. So for this example here, we're going to be paying attention to the weekly time frame, okay? Some of you guys are too caught up on the 5-minute, 15-minute, etc. Make sure you guys are at least on your daily time frame whenever you're analyzing your chart before you scale down to your lowers, just so you can get the real bigger picture. So let's check everything out. So I'm zoomed all the way out here. We can see Bitcoin had a beginning price here, and price decided to trickle up year after year after year. And you could see price has been going within a vertical direction year after year after year, not sideways like certain forex markets or other crypto coins as well too. So crypto, especially Bitcoin, is mirroring the stock market a lot of the times as well too. So if you pull up the S&P 500, you're going to be able to see some correlation between that and Bitcoin. So let me go ahead and show you guys something, for example. So pay attention to this April 2025 low here in Bitcoin, correct? And then I'm going to go ahead and pull up the S&P 500, also known as SPX, and you'll be able to see the same low mirrored within the same place, okay? So Bitcoin is also going to be a limited quantity asset, okay? There's not an infinite amount of it. So that generates scarcity, and the scarcity alone makes it a great investment. Very similar to why people invest into gold, buy diamonds, buy certain expensive pieces of jewelry, rollies, APs, etc., due to the fact that there's a limited amount. Okay, limited amount of something, especially with large amounts of amounts on this earth, and more people spawning in every single day, scarcity is going to pretty much equal value 100% of the time, especially in a situation dealing with digital currency where more and more people are starting to spend money online. Since we have the ability, thank God, to save the headache from going to certain stores now, Bitcoin is going to be a really good asset that people are going to be looking to park tons of money into, since they can pull it out any single time. Okay, you can transfer it to either a Coinbase card, for example, spend the crypto just like that, or transfer it over to your bank account. Okay, so you have a couple other options. I have a presentation for you guys, and let's jump into the specifics of why I invest in a Bitcoin, why I think you guys should too. Let's go. All right, let's go and let's cover Bitcoin's uses for the future, its technological fundamentals, and its place within society. So the foundation of everything, right? The scarcity and decentralization. Let's talk about it. Scarcity. So when something is limited, one, it equals value, okay? Take certain cars, for example, okay? A Lamborghini is significantly more valuable than a Honda, for example, due to the fact that the materials are more scarce, okay? Since there's a limited amount. Okay, so scarcity, a lot of the times, especially when it's something that's going to help society, okay, or make a human feel a certain type of emotion, value is going to be presented by making things scarce. And let's talk about decentralization. So decentralization is pretty much meaning that there's no human higher power controlling the funds. Okay, so within the bank world, if you try and send a wire transfer to somebody, the higher power within everything that can see all transactions has the ability to decline or approve said transaction. Okay, but now if you're trading within the decentralized world, trading cryptocurrency, if you want to send 10,000 to somebody, you can instantly do it as long as you have their receive address. Okay, so decentralization is putting power back in the people's hands. Okay, and you're going to be able to send money to people all around the country, all around the world within an instant time, whether at 3 a.m., 6 p.m., no waiting for the traditional Monday through Friday window as well too, that centralized banks use. So Bitcoin's power is derived from its two defining characteristics, which solve fundamental flaws and really put the power back into people's hands once again. So the Bitcoin protocol is hard-coded to produce a maximum of 21 million Bitcoin. Okay, so there's 21 million Bitcoin in total. And if you don't know how Bitcoin is created, here's how it's done. So People take computers, okay? In order for a computer to work, it has to be fueled by power, okay? So POWs are going to be the unit that's needed in order to create Bitcoin. So it's not like fiat currency or the United States dollar where it can be put into a printer and infinitely printed out, okay? No, there's a fixed, stable amount, finite amount of Bitcoin, okay? So power is then converted into the mining software, okay? So it's looking for certain hash codes within the blockchain, and once enough of those are mined, all of those come together and you'll have a Bitcoin. So now you'll see a lot of people going to other countries where power and stuff like that is a lot cheaper than, let's say, the United States, and are mining Bitcoin and then selling it for profit. So the future is really changing the way people are living, and as far as where their countries main residence is. Okay, so some people are starting to have houses in multiple different countries due to the fact that Bitcoin mining is a really profitable way to get ahead in the future and make some good income. So this fixed limit makes it the hardest money ever invented. Unlike gold, where new supply can still be mined and total supply is really unknown, Bitcoin's supply schedule is perfectly transparent and predictable, declining exponentially until approximately the year 2140. Okay. So gold, we don't really know how much gold there is. We don't know how much diamonds there are as well too. Okay. But Bitcoin, just the fact that there's a finite amount gives people more of a haste to purchase every single low as well too. And let's talk about the monetary pausing as far as the halving. So every 210,000 blocks, roughly every 4 years it occurs, the reward miners receive for securing the network is cut in half. And this halving event systematically reduces new supply, mimicking the increasing difficulty of mining a rare metal and making it mathematically impossible for any entity to inflate the supply, keeping it stable. Okay. And decentralization and censorship resistance. The network is run by thousands of independent nodes across the globe, meaning no single government, bank, or corporation can control the supply. Everything is done by autonomous, automatic, smart contracts. Okay, so no single bank or corporation can halve transactions, halt transactions, seize funds, or freeze funds. Okay, and this distributes power and ensures the network remains neutral and permissionless, putting power back in the people's hands, ensuring a safe peer-to-peer transaction system. As much as humans love jewelry as well, we do love buying things online, especially as we progress into more of a digital future society. So using Bitcoin as digital gold is also going to be one of the main reasons why it continues to go up year after year. And the primary investment case for long-term holding, right, is going to be buying the dip. Okay, so one Bitcoin falls down in certain places, right, even after making new all-time highs, people are going to be quick to buy the dip due to the fact that people already see it as a digital gold. So when the dip happens, you have to capitalize. You can't be scared. You have to be ready to put that money to the side and invest and really sit on your investment. People have been holding gold for decades, eons. Okay, so you have to think of it as that. Don't expect to instantly make money overnight. Okay, you have to have that long-term, decade-based mindset, and I'm telling you, the money will be in your hands a lot quicker than you think, inshallah. So it's also protection against fiat debasement. So traditional government currencies, which are fiat, are subject to inflation, as central banks can print unlimited amounts, eroding purchasing power over time. So take real estate, for example. People wonder why rent and stuff like that has gone up substantially over the course of a few years. Here's the reason why. The government has been printing significantly more funds as of the years have gone by. Okay, so certain other things like programs that increase the U.S. debt too, such as like food stamps and stuff like that. So the government has to compensate for giving out money, so they compensate that by printing more money. But as we can see, year after year after year, that does not work, and that leads to economy crashes and inflation being at all-time highs. So thank God people who coded Bitcoin decided to come out with a counter to that. Okay, so if you're able to still make purchases all around the world without having to exchange your currency, which would be a lose of value depending on a certain economy. Okay, take the US, right? If $10 in 2025 doesn't get you as much of food as it did in 2008, that means that the value that you exchange, even year after year after year, won't be the same. But Bitcoin, a lot of the times, will be that stable debasement. Okay. It's also going to have some superior physical characteristics compared to gold and diamonds too. You don't got to worry about getting robbed in certain ways physically. You don't got to worry about stashing your house, or if your house burns down, or God forbid you run into any type of unfortunate event, you're not about to lose all your wealth. You keep it parked though. Okay. Keys are going to be really important. Don't give anybody your secret key. There's also going to be things called cold wallets too, where you can keep all of your Bitcoin on USB drives, physical drives. But if you get it wet, destroy it, lose it, or something like that, you can also lose all your funds that way too. So choose what's the best option for you. So portability, right? Gold bars are cumbersome. Bitcoin is borderless. You can trade all around the world. You can buy stuff all around the world and send money to anybody all around the world. And it can be transferred via a simple 12-word phrase called your secret key. Make sure you guys don't give that to anybody. Keep that safe, keep it around, and you guys will always be able to get back in your wallet. Okay. Indivisibility. Gold is pretty hard to divide. If you have a nugget or a bar, that's pretty much what you have. It's not easy to split that down the middle or make some kind of easy trade. Somebody has to be down to accept what you have. And one Bitcoin is divisible into 100 million Satoshis, for example. Okay, allowing for microtransactions and small investments, or if you just want to purchase something. Okay, if you have 50 gold bars and they're 3 pound solid gold bars, it's not easy to exchange that for currency immediately. Bitcoin, you can easily send it to a broker like Kraken, Coinbase, or something like that and instantly get your money in your hands quickly. And gold requires specialized assays as well too. Okay, so you can't just pull up on anybody in the world and give them a gold bar and expect some money. Okay, they're going to want to verify the gold, want to do certain tests, make sure that the quality is decent that they want, and see what carat it is. And all that is really going to determine how much you're going to get. And all that also is really based upon how well you're taking care of the gold bar too. Bitcoin, you just buy and hold, buy and hold. And that's really the beauty of it. Buy and hold. So it comes to the point of, okay, instead of you buying that McDonald's for the day, you bought some Bitcoin for the day. So it's really a test of who's feeding their flesh and who's being disciplined. Okay, if you're being disciplined, inshallah, you'll be rewarded. Okay, so because Bitcoin is still early in its adoption, right, compared to gold, which is still at all-time highs as of this recording, right, investors view it as an emerging store of value, and this is just massive potential. Okay, and a lot of asymmetric upside, especially as we start seeing stuff like the US government invest into it, start seeing other countries start teaching it within schools and stuff like that. And we can just see the world going into a lot more borderless, financial, revolutionary, and freedom era within society. Whether you're a boss trying to place some employees in a whole another country, Bitcoin is really going to be an efficient way for easier payments. Just like I spoke about in the beginning of the video, there's been times where my bank has had maintenance at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., and I haven't been able to make some transactions, but was able to go dig in the crypto stash, go to my Phantom wallet, transfer it to my Coinbase, and was able to make the purchase that I needed to. Okay, so once again, having that decentralized, safe, and pretty much having your money parked away into a world that's not controlled by maintenance times and centralized control, whether it comes to banks, whether it comes to power with when you can send your funds and how you can send your funds as well too. Banks also come with certain things such as deposit amounts and withdrawal amounts too. So a lot of things are really outside of your control when it comes to that. So having your money parked into a world that's going to be a bit more free is going to be best case scenario for yourself, for your survival as a human, and for your family if you have one too. So beyond its role as a reserve asset, Bitcoin and scaling layers are solving critical pain points in global payments, making transactions a lot faster, cheaper, and more transparent than the legacy banking system. Then it really streamlines international remittances. That's really the biggest part of Bitcoin, and it's really a blessing. Lets people from other countries be able to receive funds in case you want to send some money to your family, or you might have somebody that works for you or work for somebody in another country, and you'll be able to get paid quickly within the crypto. Okay, and traditional wire transfers can be extremely slow, like 1 to 3 business days. And don't forget, that doesn't include the weekends, and it can get declined due to the fact that they don't have to let that go through if they don't want. They can be expensive. You're going to be paying that wire transfer fee a lot of the times, and pretty opaque, right? You're not going to know when the money exactly is going to hit. It's not going to be direct, and you're not going to be able to check certain things. When you send Bitcoin, you immediately can go check the confirmation link, and you can go see it on the blockchain explorer, see exactly when the transaction is going to get confirmed. And what a confirmation is pretty much lets you know when the other person has received the funds, most likely. Okay. And it utilizes layer 2 solutions like the Lightning Network, which allows the value to be settled globally in seconds, bypassing multiple correspondent banks and drastically reducing fees dramatically. Okay, so let's talk about the Lightning Network. It's a second layer protocol built on Bitcoin that enables near instant zero fee payments for the most part, almost zero fee. And this technology is being adopted for everyday purchases and micropayments, proving Bitcoin's capability as a medium exchange, not just a store of value. And transparency and security. So every transaction is permanently recorded on the immutable public blockchain ledger. And this enhanced auditability reduces fraud risk and fosters greater trust between distant parties, which is often lacking in complex legacy cross-border payment systems. Okay, so you don't have to worry about any things like weird holds, weird stoppages, or things like that, which can be extremely frustrating when you're trying to do business or just buy something pretty simply. And it's definitely a big help to society, right? It's bringing in the democratization of finance. Bitcoin's greatest societal contribution is arguably the empowerment of financially undeserved and its ability to act as a lifeline in politically or economically unstable regimens. And banking the unbanked. Globally, billions lack access to traditional bank accounts due to high fees, certain things like ID requirements, and stringent KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer, and AML requirements, or geographical remoteness. Bitcoin only requires an internet connection and a smartphone or computer, and the wallet-based infrastructure opens up participation in the global economy to literally anybody on planet Earth, regardless of their location or documentation status. Which means that even if people in other countries don't have their papers and stuff like that, doesn't mean that they have to starve. So you have the ability to send people who don't have their papers and stuff like that, or have a traditional bank account, money, even if they're working for you, helping out family. So it really just comes in clutch in a lot of areas. And it's a refuge in hyperinflationary economies. So in countries experiencing currency collapse, like for example, Venezuela, Lebanon, or Turkey, citizens often see their life savings wiped out by government mismanagement. Okay, because at the end of the day, if the government controls the fiat currency, Bitcoin is decentralized. So it's not fair that you wake up, pray every single day, grind, and slave for your family. And just because the government wants to go to war or help out too many other countries, your life savings are now pretty much obsolete. So keeping our money in Bitcoin is going to be a really strong scenario if you really care about your family's well-being and future as well too. Because you can see governments consistently go into debt, lose certain funding, shut down, and a lot of things happen. And Bitcoin provides a permissionless escape, allowing individuals to store their wealth in a digitally scarce asset that cannot be devalued by local central banks, thereby preserving purchasing power. And users must take direct responsibility for their Bitcoin's custody, right? So you're pretty much like your own bank. You got to be responsible of your secret keys. Don't be being loose with your information. And while channeling, this promotes a culture of self-determination and deepens understanding of monetary policy, leading to greater personal financial literacy. Okay, so be your own boss. Take control of your own account. And you don't even have to have your cryptocurrency on a network with a password and username. You could just hold it on a cold wallet or hold on a network like Phantom, which is just held by secret keys. So pretty much no one can go in and grab your money, not even the IRS. And how you make your money is going to be baked into just purchasing the asset. The potential for profit is rooted in Bitcoin's fundamental economic design and its non-correlated nature relative to traditional assets. And the supply shock mechanism. The price is a function of fixed declining supply meeting exponentially increasing demand. When a halving event occurs, which is once again when 210,000 blocks decide to get put into the cycle and halve, the daily supply of new Bitcoin is suddenly cut in half, while global demand from institutions, ETFs, which stands for exchange traded funds, and retail remains constant or increases. This creates a severe supply shock that historically precedes major price action, and it's going to be a lot more superior than other cryptocurrencies due to the fact that it's finite. Okay, so this is a really superior supply shock compared to other things too. Okay, a lot of other cryptocurrencies are going to be infinite, so don't expect other cryptocurrencies to hold the same base or store of value that Bitcoin has. you have to remember that finite superiority baked within it. Okay? It's not the same as other cryptocurrencies. And institutional adoption and validation. Through introduction of Bitcoin spot ETFs and the allocation of Bitcoin to corporate and hedge fund balance sheets provides massive new avenues for capital influx. And institutions have longer time horizons and deeper capital pools, which adds legitimacy, reduces volatility over time, and drives up the baseline demand, especially as we see more governments holding it. And the power of long-term holding, right? The long-term strategy known as hodling leverages Bitcoin's historical performance, the fact that it's an asset that helps future. And a lot of the times when it comes to cryptocurrency or stocks, inshallah, God wills, you don't even have to look at the chart. If you invest your money into something that's putting a smile on people's faces and helping the world, a lot of the times you'll end up with the positive P&L within like 1 to 5 years, a good chunk of the time. It's plenty of millionaires of people who've never even looked at the chart once. Okay, so take that into consideration when it comes to your psychology of where you're investing. So despite extreme short-term volatility, right, it's a side effect of inelastic supply, Bitcoin has delivered superior annualized returns over the past decade compared to most traditional asset classes, rewarding patience and a belief in its technological and monetary fundamentals. So keep all those strong choices in mind when it comes to why Bitcoin is going up year after year after year. There's a lot of reasons. And Bitcoin is not just a high-risk investment. It's a foundational technology designed to offer a superior form of money, one characterized by digital scarcity, righteousness, and offers borderless transaction capability. So feel free to help anyone around the world, help your family, or hire people from other countries due to the fact that now that we have this currency, we can easily have peer-to-peer transactions without a centralized base controlling and holding everything. No more getting your transactions declined. No more the bank stopping your payments from coming through. And by buying and holding Bitcoin, participants are betting on the continued adoption of a sound, mathematically enforced monetary system that stands as an alternative to the inflationary pressure of a fiat currency. And its utility ranges from institutional portfolio diversification, like digital gold, to providing essential financial services to the world's most vulnerable populations. Stay prayed up to God, keep grinding. And if you guys want to learn how to invest, head over to stackmode.net. Catch you in the next one. Peace.